Hello, welcome to Yoga with Di. I'm Di, and this is a practice to really unwind the whole body. If you're feeling a little bit anxious, a little bit tense, or a little bit stressed, this is the practice for you. So come join me on the mat. Let's get started. So let's start in a comfortable seated position on the mat. You could be on your knees, cross legs, you could even be on a chair for this bit, whatever's comfortable for you. And we start by closing down the eyes and just bringing the attention to the self. Just taking some time in your day now to focus on you. Close down the eyes and just start to notice your breath, just observing how you're breathing now in this moment. No judgment and no attempt to change the breath. Just checking in with yourself. Just see what the pattern is, what the rhythm is of your breath in this moment. And then maybe we start to think about our body and how our body's feeling. So maybe a little scan down from the top of the head, the crown of the head, just bringing your awareness there. How does it feel? Maybe starting to move that awareness down through the forehead, behind the eyes, maybe down the back of the scalp, maybe down through into the jawbone. Just observing how you're feeling in this moment. Maybe taking your attention down your neck, down your throat, and into your shoulders. And again, just observing, just noting what version of you have brought to the mat today. And taking the attention now down through the chest, into the ribs, into the belly, and down into the hips. And just observing all these different parts of the body, taking the awareness through into your legs and all the way down to your toes. And then gently let's open the eyes. And let's bring our hands to our knees, however you're sat. Just bring your hands to your knees and see if you can lift the lower ribs away from the pelvis. And maybe just start to take some gentle circular motions, as though your spine is a really sort of straight rod and you're moving around that axis of your spine. Just little circles, nothing too dramatic. We go one way, and then maybe let's move the other way. And then coming through to the center, take a deep inhale. And as you exhale, perhaps tuck the chin to the chest and round the spine. So you start to look to your navel, suck the navel towards the back of the body and stretch those ribs out behind you to the back wall behind you. And just breathe as you look towards your navel, maybe bringing the shoulders forward slightly to stretch into the upper back. And then on your next inhale, you can use your hands on your knees to help support you as you lift first, straightening the spine up, tall, strong, and then starting to bend the other way. So moving the chest forwards, taking the shoulders back, pushing those shoulder blades down the spine, and perhaps lifting the chin just slightly No crunching in the back of the neck, just a little gentle lift as we look up and breathe. And then coming back through the center. We'll take some of those circles again. Maybe this time you want to make the movement a little bigger. So starting to move into those circles, and perhaps this time we allow a bit of flex and extension in the spine. So as you move forwards, the chest moves forwards. As you move back, the ribs move back. Just exaggerating the movement perhaps a little more than before. And then perhaps we'll move the other way. So stretching that chest out over the legs and coming back with a rounded spine. Maybe just thinking about making those circles a little bigger if you can. Feeling the stretch at different points of the body as you move through your circles. And then coming back to center. If you're cross-legged, you might wish to change the cross of your legs. At this point, we'll inhale, we'll stretch the arms up. And then as you exhale, take the right hand towards the earth and inhale the left arm up. Think about coming up first. So there might be a temptation to go straight into this stretch. But if you lift up, then that will avoid collapsing into the right side of your waist. So think about lifting up first. And then if you can try and draw an arc on the ceiling with your finger, you may want to stretch over towards the right side. And breathe into that stretch. If you wish, you can slide your right hand away and keep the left sit bone rooted. Breathing into this stretch. And then use that right hand to help push you back to the center and come back to your neutral, and just note if there's a little difference between the right and left side of the body here. Just see what that effect might have been. And then this time we'll stretch up, and as you exhale, take the left hand to the mat and stretch the right arm up first. So think about trying to touch the ceiling with your right hand, and then take that up. So you're drawing a line in the ceiling, taking that hand up and over, just to feel that tremendous stretch, keeping that right sit bone rooted. And again, if you wish, you could try and stretch the left arm out, whatever works for you. Just feeling that lovely stretch in the side of the body. And just be mindful here as well, if that right shoulder has dropped forwards, that's a different kind of stretch, which might work for you. That might be where you want to be today, but perhaps experiment a little, pushing that shoulder back, keeping the shoulders aligned, and feeling where that stretch is. And then inhale, coming up to the center. Once again, let's roll the shoulders one way and then the other way. And then we lift the shoulders and drop. Let's do one more of those. Lift and drop. And then let's make our way to our tabletop on our hands and knees. So having the hands underneath the shoulders, shoulder width apart, knees underneath the hips, hip width apart. And maybe just experiment with a few cat-cows that work for you in your own rhythm. Just moving through, easing into the spine. And maybe keeping the elbows slightly bent. And then come to your neutral. Let's take the right leg out behind and let's just gently rock into that leg. Just feel the back of the leg open up as you rock on the toes. And then look towards your standing leg And note that that's hopefully perpendicular to the floor, so it's straight up. As you do that, maybe start to hop those right toes behind that foot. See if you can see them peep out from the other side of the leg whilst keeping this standing leg straight. That your hip might wobble to the side a bit, and that's perfectly normal. If you try and keep it straight up, it will help with the stretch. So then once you've ascertained that that leg is straight, you can look forwards and then start to look over your left shoulder towards your toes, which you may or may not see, depends how far that foot has gone. But think about looking towards them and breathing into that stretch down the right side of your waist. Try and keep that right side of the pelvis lifted. Breathing into that stretch. And then gently looking down between your hands, bring that leg back and come back to the tabletop. And again, noting the effect on the body. And then we'll take that left leg back. So again, rocking into the leg, just rocking on the toes here, easing open the back of that leg. And then again, looking at that standing leg, trying to keep that standing leg straight as you hop the toes of the left foot out behind the right toes, and then looking over that right shoulder towards those right toes. And again, if the hips rocked over, see if you can pull it back. And you might, if you've looked and seen that your leg is straight, maybe just have a play, rock that hip and note the difference here. Just that subtlety of keeping that bottom leg straight really does make a difference to this stretch. Breathing into that stretch. And then hopping those legs back. Come back to your tabletop. Perhaps spread the knees a little bit wider, kiss the big toes together, and push into your hands to bring your seat back towards your heels. Stretch your hands forwards and take your forehead to the mat in child's pose. Now, if child's pose isn't available to you today, come onto the knees, keep the knees a little bit closer together, maybe take the forearms to the floor and drop the head. And you can have your hips either back or up. It's okay, wherever you are. It's just about getting the head to the mat and stretching the sides of the body. So think about stretching your hands forwards and breathing into the sides of your body. And then wherever you are, we'll come back up to our tabletop. And this time we'll start to stretch our knees back and bring ourselves slowly down onto the mat into a Sphinx pose. So forearms pushing into the mat, shoulder blades pushing down the spine, and chest lifting, pushing forwards. Breathing here. And then from here, bring your left arm in slightly and slide your right arm forwards, bending at the elbow to bring that right hand to support the head. Then you can take the left hand back to where it was and start to slide the left knee towards the left elbow. Keep pushing the pelvis into the earth. You might start to feel that you're rocking a little bit onto your right pelvis. That's perfectly normal, but you'll feel a more intense stretch if you can think about pushing your pelvis into the earth and stretching this knee away and forwards. Breathing there. And then if you're feeling good here, you might want to think about bending that stretched out leg, your right leg, and reaching around to grab the foot and pulling the foot in. Now, as you reach round to grab, there might be a tendency for this hip to lift. So if that happens, you've got options. You can either come back, keep pushing that hip into the floor to get that stretch into your hip, or you can reach around and lose a little bit of the stretch here in order to stretch your quad. So whatever works for you. It's not that one posture is better or more advanced than the other. They just do different things. So breathe wherever you are. And then wherever you are, bringing that foot forward, sliding that knee back, and coming back to your Sphinx posture. And just take a moment here. Just note what that may or may not have done to the body. Breathing steadily and slowly. And then we'll take the other side. I'm just going to spin around so I'm not on the mat there. So on the other side, you can bring that right arm in a little bit so you can stretch the left arm forwards, bend at the elbow and support your head. Bringing your right arm back, start to stretch the right knee out. Think about like northeast, pushing that knee to a northeast sort of direction. And just keep pushing into the floor with that right side of the pelvis. It won't be completely flat on the floor, but if you kind of think about trying to push into the floor, you'll get that stronger stretch on the inside. And then again, if you did on the last side, you want to pull that left leg into the body and reach around and pull the knee in, then go ahead. And if you are doing that, you might find if you push the pelvis strongly into the mat, you get a slightly more intense stretch on your quad. And once again, if you're losing some of the stretch in your inner hip and just wish to stretch more there, then release the foot and just concentrate on pushing this hip down. So whatever's working for you today. And breathing steadily into the posture. And then wherever you are, sliding the leg back, releasing the head, and coming back, pushing into the hands to lift yourself up, to push yourself back into your version of child's pose. So again, you can either have the hips lifted, head towards the earth, stretch the arms forwards, or take the seat back to the heels. Knees can be wide, or you can have the knees a little bit closer together and stretch over the thighs, which gives the back a little bit of a flex. And breathe here. And then coming up to your tabletop. Plant your right hand under your face. Inhale, lift your left arm to the ceiling. Exhale, bring it behind the right hand. Stretch the arm out. Coming into your thread the needle. Now again with this posture, the hips might want to creep over slightly towards the outstretched hand. No problem if that's happening. Don't stress about it. It's perfectly normal, but you will feel a slightly more intense stretch in the back of the shoulder if you can keep the hips above the knees. So if that has happened, if you've wobbled quite a bit, then maybe come back and think about as you thread the needle, keeping those knees upright. So slowly threading the needle, keeping an eye on this leg as you go down, and then dropping the head. And breathing here. This right hand can either stretch in front of you or stay in front of your face, whatever feels comfortable. And then when you're ready, bring that hand in front of your face to push into the hand to allow yourself to come back onto your knees. Give the shoulders a little bit of a roll, one way and then the other way. Note how that feels in the body. There might be a little bit of a difference. And then we'll take the other side. So bringing that left hand underneath the face. Inhale, stretch the right arm up. Exhale, keeping an eye on these legs, that they're perpendicular. Stretch that arm through to the floor. Bring the head to the floor and then stretch that left arm forwards, or keep the hand in front of the face, whatever's working for you. Breathing here. And then bring the hand in front of the face to help push yourself back up, coming back to sit on your heels. Maybe come up to your knees now. We'll do a baby gate pose. So this time stretch the right leg out. See if you can have the toes pointing forwards here. And just keep an eye on this leg, that it's, again, that your hips are not wobbling one way or the other, that you're trying to keep that leg straight up, perpendicular to the floor, and stretching this leg, out to the side. And then we inhale, let's stretch the arms up. And as you exhale, plant this right hand onto the leg, very lightly, no weight. We're going to lift the left arm up and over. Nice, strong stretch into the left side of the body. Breathing here. So again, to think about the intensity of the stretch, just be mindful if this shoulder has crept forwards, that's perfectly normal, but just think about trying to push it back. So come up a little bit, push it back so that the shoulders are in one line, the leg is in the same line. So you could have a wall in front of you and a wall behind you, and you wouldn't touch the wall as you stretch over. And that will give you a slightly stronger stretch. And again, watch this hip hasn't moved over. Push down strongly into the foot, the outstretched foot, to keep the hip upright. So hopefully you're feeling a lovely stretch all down the left side of the body. Breathing here. And then inhale, come back to the center. Come back to your knees. And again, just note what that's done to your body. How you're feeling after that lovely, deep, intense stretch. And then we'll take the other side. So stretching the left foot out, point the toes forwards. Again, just keep an eye on this upright leg. See if you can keep that leg straight up, so no wobbling of the hips. Push down strongly into the left foot, into the outer edge of the left foot. Stretch the arms up. And then as you exhale, taking that left hand to your left leg for support, bringing that right arm up and over. And again, just being mindful of the shoulders, the leg, the whole torso being sandwiched between these two walls, front and back. And that's what makes the difference to the stretch. Maybe have a little play, squeezing the glutes here, seeing what that does to your stretch. And breathing into it. And then when you're ready, we will come back to the center. Release, release, release. Coming back onto your seat. Let's just finish off the practice with some gentle twists. So you can bring the right foot on the outside of the left hip and take the left foot over to the outside of the right knee. This leg doesn't have to be bent. You can keep it straight out and just come to the outside of the knee, like so. Whatever's working for you, just lift the opposite arm to that knee and then turn and hug that knee. So right arm hugging left knee as you turn and look over your left shoulder. Keeping the chest lifted. Maybe suck the belly in to help with the twist. Breathing here. And then gently unraveling, and we swap sides. So you can take the legs out, and again you can keep the legs straight, just cross the right arm to the outside, the right foot, sorry, to the outside of the left knee, or you can bring that leg in, whatever works for you. Hug that knee a little bit to help lift and straighten the spine. Let's stretch the left arm up, and as you exhale, turn and twist, hugging that right knee into the torso and looking over your right shoulder. Breathing here. And then when you're ready, gently unraveling, unwind, we will make our way onto our backs. So roll back down, release the hands, release the legs, close down the eyes, and perhaps take a deep breath here. So really fill the body, fill the lungs. And exhale out through the mouth, let it go. One more. Let's take a deep inhale. Fill the lungs. Let it go. And then this time we take a deep inhale, fill the lungs, and just hold the breath for a moment. And then perhaps if you can, take another little sip of air. And then let it go. And then let your breath just return to its normal rhythm, natural rhythm. And just start to let the body soften, relax into the mat. Just noting where the body has contact with the mat. And perhaps just thinking about those areas of contact becoming a little bit bigger, just in your mind's eye. Just imagine the body softening so much that it starts to spread slightly. And then we'll start to do another body scan, taking your awareness to the crown of your head and working down through your body and just observing how you're feeling. Taking the awareness through the body. And noting any changes that may have occurred. And if there are any remaining little bits of tightness or tension that you are observing, perhaps think about sending the breath to those areas to perhaps sweep out the insides and carrying out the tension on your exhalation. And then once again now, starting to focus on your breath, bringing your awareness to the inhalations and exhalations, and just noting the rhythm of your breath and observing whether there has been any change from your breath at the start of this practice to now. There may or may not have been, but just observing, just noting and tuning in to yourself. And you can stay here for longer if you wish, just letting yourself soften and breathe and just be. Or if you wish, you can close off the practice with me. Just perhaps bring your knees in towards your chest. Give yourself a hug. Maybe rock gently from side to side, massaging into that lower spine. And then, as is comfortable for you, make your way to a seated position on your mat, in your own way, in your own time. Just find that comfortable seat. And bring your hands into prayer at your heart center. On your next inhalation, take the hands up, look to your hands as you stretch up. And exhale, bringing your hands through your heart center. Let's go straight back up on the inhale. Inhaling, stretching up. Exhaling, bringing your hands down through your heart center. One last time. Inhale, stretch the hands up. Exhale, bring them through your heart center and perhaps bow your head forwards towards the earth. Thank you so much for joining me on the mat today. I hope you're feeling lovely, stretchy feelings through the body, as though you've given yourself a little bit of an unraveling. Do join me again on the mat if you wish. You can like and subscribe to the video to see more. Whatever you're doing for the rest of the day, have a beautiful, beautiful day. Thank you.